The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the complete that. He's crazy.
The other side, Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Since 1954, the sounds of racing have reverberated across western Ohio and eastern Indiana from a small track near New Weston, Ohio. Tonight, V8-powered trucks take to the track where many dirt short track dreams are made or shattered. Good evening, race fans. I'm Adam Young. Eldora Speedway and the Premier Racing League welcome you to the Speed Mafia Dirt Derby. We look forward to an exciting night of 100 laps of V8-produced horsepower. Joining me tonight are Justin Prince, who, until Soup gives him a nickname, will just simply be known as the new guy. And the man behind the curtain running the show is going to be Joe Peak here this evening. He'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, last time out, Josh Skrupa put on a show at Mid-Ohio, claiming the flag-to-flag win, and his fourth win of the season. But that was a road course. Tonight, these guys will be tackling something different. Justin, tell us about Eldora.
Yes, this is going to be a much different circuit and a much big challenge for these drivers tonight. When I spoke with some of the drivers before today's race, they described it, some of them, as trying to wrestle a bear. Others see it as trying to catch a bull with a piece of nylon thread. That's how challenging this is, because tonight will be a test for drivers' abilities to manage both their steering and throttle control on this half-mile oval. If you press the throttle too much, or turn abruptly, or when you're entering the turns hit the brakes too much, you'll end up spinning around in circles and ruining your night. Tonight's fastest drivers during the practice sessions prior to tonight's heats were in the 19-second range for the top times, average times early to mid-20s, and expect everyone to fight hard for position throughout the grid tonight, all the way until the end. And now, let me help explain everything by leading you to today's race lap guide, the GSRC lap guide.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Global Sim Racing Channel. I'm Brian Yazik, taking you for a spin around the Eldora Speedway and the GSRC Chevrolet Silverado. So without further ado, here we go. Dirt is out, dirt is here, and it is sweeping the iRacing community. That's for sure. Driving these big old trucks around and slinging the mud and getting these things sideways is all sorts of fun. There's really not going to be a clear guide here, because what's going to happen is the track is going to change so much in the race. So where I'm going right here in turn one, towards the end of the race, you're probably going to see a lot of trucks up there because the groove is going to move up there. With dirt, you're constantly chasing where the grip is at. Here in turns 3 and 4, you see, kind of ride it right up there next to the fence, trying to come down just a little bit and get a straight shot off of that corner. You're never fully into the throttle all the way. At best, you're probably 85% with dirt. So there you go, sweeping it through turn 2 there, down this very short backstretch. This is only a half-mile track, so this is a very unique experience for these trucks. Braking is completely different on dirt as well, because in traditional oval, you're using the brake to slow the truck down. In dirt, you're using it to help it turn. So it takes a whole different mindset to get around a dirt track in these big trucks. So here we go, back through 3 and 4. One more time, getting it right up next to the fence, kicking it sideways, bringing it down, and across the line. And that is going to complete our track guide here around the Eldora Speedway in the GSRC Silverado. I'm Brian Yazik. Enjoy the show.
And that was a lap around this lightning quick half mile, which with these trucks, you heard the description that Justin used to describe how these things are going to handle here for this evening. Now, we're watching the drivers get ready to form up here for Heat Race 1. The format for tonight, we're going to have 4 10-lap heats. This is going to get us to our field and grid the field for a 100-lap A main to come up after we get done with these heats here this evening as we go into the night and turn on the lights around the speedway. Of course, once we hit the A main, there will be some bonus points. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about how these guys are going to grid up here to start this race. Heat 1 is going to consist of 5 drivers. On the pole is going to be Jeff Ward. Alongside him, still waiting for him to come out, it's going to be Tommy Ryan. There he is. Starting to see him there on my screen now. Sorry about that. But, of course, Tommy Ryan driving his usual Northern Tools and Equipment machine vehicle. Rick Thompson's going to be out there as well. Rick Thompson, one of the Speed Mafia drivers. Behind him is going to be Jonathan Lawrence, or alongside him is going to be Jonathan Lawrence, and then behind him will be John Wilco. So there's your top 5, or your 5 for number Heat 1. Ward, Ryan, Thompson, Lawrence, and Wilco as they start their pace lap. Justin, what are you going to be looking for here early?
Well, with this being the first heats here, I'm expecting drivers to try and race as hard as they can, to try and get as high as they can on this grid, of course. One thing to watch, though, I think with Jeff Ward, as the pace truck is coming off, he's one of the fast cars to watch. In fact, the fastest. Expect many others to try and catch up with his pace here.
And there he goes. You see him jump sideways as soon as he gets on the gas, and he is away on the front straightaway down into turn 1. Yeah, that's right. These trucks, they definitely get sideways around here, and he is digging harder than the other guys. Right now, Tommy Ryan settling into second, but not for long. He does have the likes of Rick Thompson and Jonathan Lawrence right behind him. The only one that's been able to separate out a little bit is Jeff Ward. Rick Thompson's going to have to fight here for Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan has a good run, actually gets into the back a little bit of Rick Thompson going into turn 1. That is going to allow Jonathan Lawrence to get a good inside look. He is right down there against the wall, taking that good hard look on the inside. But he loses all his momentum, but who gets momentum is going to be Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan's able to separate out a little bit from Jonathan Lawrence, Rick Thompson, but not quite there yet. He's not completely clear yet. He's going to go ahead and try taking the lower line here, see how well that works for him. I'm expecting a lot of these guys do some exploratory, but he is still sideways halfway down the backstretch. He stays out of the wall, and somehow, well, that somehow was answered, Rick Thompson, but no, Tommy Ryan's almost around. He has to gather the truck up, turn right just a little bit. I think some of these guys are turning right almost as much as they're doing left. Rick Thompson now on the outside, going through turns 3 and 4. Rick Thompson still fighting for second, but Tommy Ryan now back in control of second place. Now the battle is back on for third position as Rick Thompson's going to have to try to fight off Jonathan Lawrence. Jonathan Lawrence on the inside. He's actually got a little bit of momentum, but he almost loses it on the inside again. Has to gather that truck back up. It's amazing that these guys are on the inside and not losing a ton of momentum here. So that's incredible there. Tommy Ryan still out front now. Up front, up the entire heat, still Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward just setting pace out in front of those guys. He is a long way off, Justin.
Yes, well, what do you expect when in qualifying he ran a 19.5, which was 0.2 faster than the rest of the pack. That's how fast he was. He was the pacemaker in the qualifying session for to set up the heats, and he's showing why right here, already pulling away more and more.
Yep, so meanwhile, Tommy Ryan has been able to get out a little bit in front for second place here, so the battle is on for third with Jonathan Lawrence and Rick Thompson. They are going at it here tooth and nail, as they have been pretty much since the start of the race. John Wilco has kind of settled into fifth place. He's just kind of riding this thing probably till the end here. Man, it's incredible how sideways you can get these trucks and still bring them back. I mean, I know it's on dirt, but they drive like dump trucks from what we're told.
Yes, well, they do, that's for sure. They are very hard, very quick as we enter the 2-to-go point, and definitely very hard to control on dirt with the way they're balanced out. So you have to make sure you keep up that balance. Some drivers are doing well, others are struggling a little bit. Wilco was one of the ones who struggled in practice, and as we enter the white flag right this second.
Yeah, Jeff Ward right now going through 1 and 2. I don't think that truck's been straight the entire time. I think it's been sideways the entire time. Welcome to Dirt. Welcome to Eldora as these guys are kicking up the mud here this evening. Now, Jeff Ward coming around turns 3, coming out of 4 onto the front straightaway. He's going to be the winner of heat race number 1.
And a good finish for sure there as Tommy Ryan finishes second. Third place, Jonathan Lawrence. Fourth place will be Thompson. And in fifth place will be John Wilco. And Jeff Ward looks like he's going to do some burnouts here after that. Spinning around in a circle, just crossing the line. Into 4, I should say.
Well, I have a feeling that won't be the last time we see something like that out of him here for tonight. He definitely seems like he has the pace. But so these guys here, we're getting ready to see the trucks rather for heat race number 2 come out. They're going to have 2 minutes of hot lapping before they take grid up and take their green flag for their heat. So with that, hey, we got a minute, Justin. Let's talk about the point standings and where we're at. Of course, we had the race at Mid-Ohio last week, and Josh Skrupa just dominated that. But tell us a little bit more about what you're seeing here with the points.
Well, with the point standings coming into tonight, Brian Yazik leads the way right now, 383 points for him. James Kahua, 33 points back at 350. Tyler Dalton, one of the top contenders expected for tonight's main event, is behind another 67 points of the leader. Rick Thompson in 4th, 301 points. Tim Johnston in 5th with 290. Josh Skrupa up with 272. Then Travis McQuiston right behind him, tied up with Jake Wright with 271. 265 for Jeff Gow. And then Brian Mellendorf finishes things off. Of course, Gow and Mellendorf not in the event at this time. So, of course, right now, Yazik having a bit of pressure to keep that points lead, so we'll have to see how things go with the truck race. He struggled a little bit with practice, and we'll have to see how he does in the heat.
Yeah, and you mentioned Gal. Gal did mention earlier on to the race officials that he might get in at the last second tonight and not have a chance to qualify, and indeed, he did just join the session. 1 second. Okay, so they're going to let Jeff Gow go in Heat 3, so our next heat, and then Adam Littell also just joining for you Adam Littell fans. He'll be in Heat 4. So that kind of sets it up a little bit there. Now, one thing about the points you saw there on the spring standings, that does mean Brian Yazik was our spring session champion there. And, of course, right now at that point in the season, it mimics the overall title run with Brian Yazik in the lead. Now, beginning next time out at Lucia Speedway, that's right, we're going to go right back to doing the whole dirt thing again. And we'll have to start talking about the summer standings as well as your overall championship. So this is that point of the year where you start having to play 2 different points games here at the Premier Racing League. So track is becoming closed here for the American Pool Supply Truck Series, and these guys will start gridding up here in just a second. In Heat 2, what you're going to find on the pole once they get out there is going to be Tyler Dalton. Next up alongside him will be Paul Pepper. Row 2 is going to be Travis McQuiston. Alongside him will be Derek Paulson. And then in the 5th position in Heat 2 will be Norm Pelletier III. So that'll be how they will line up once they start pulling onto the track here in just a second.
Yes, a good heat setup there. Tyler Dalton, one of my favorites for when the main event gets underway. Also, another one I think is Travis McQuiston to watch in this heat. So some good drivers setting up here.
Well, we should expect then, as you were mentioning, a competitive heat. But now we'll see. They're starting to go ahead and form up. Travis
yeah, as long as you don't hit the pace car before the green flag, I think you're okay.
Well, he hit every other thing out there. He might as well be perfect, right?
Yes.
I've always wanted to say that on a broadcast.
He was about 2 inches from being perfect, so we'll see if he tries to become perfect during the pace lap.
Well, we do have a driver, obviously no relation, but his name is Fred Thompson. Who remember the great late actor Fred Thompson, and Senator, played the Bill France character in Days of Thunder. So we always think of Days of Thunder whenever we see Fred Thompson out there. So, all right, so everybody's getting out there, getting ready. You do have your pace truck driver, by the way, tonight. I want to give a thanks to Scott Eckridge driving that pace truck out there. You've seen this kind of thing happen before on some GSRC broadcasts. If you ever watched any of the Absolute Beginner League All-Star races where they'll have an actual vehicle out there as the pace vehicle and actually driven, and tonight's Scott Eckridge in this heat format tonight gets that straw drawn in the Premier Racing League American Pool Supply Truck Series. So these guys are out there for their pace lap. They will only get one pace lap here as they form up. Paul Pepper is actually going to be on the inside here to start, as Tyler Dalton has elected to take the outside line. And I think given what we just saw in Heat Race 1, that's probably going to be the smart move. Pace truck is off. Tyler Dalton is on the gas, and away they go for Heat Race number 2. As it go down the front straightaway, already fighting a loose truck is Tyler Dalton. He's got Paul Pepper right behind him. And in third, as shakes out, is going to be Travis McQuistion, Derek Paulson, and Norman Peltier III as they head into turn 3 here. Tyler Dalton still in command as early on. It'll be 10 laps here for Heat Race number 2. Justin?
And Tyler Dalton running very well to start off, but Pepper right on his back heels. And in fact, Pepper looking like he might go for the pass here a little bit underneath. So Dalton having to fight off a competitor already, as of course Pepper was almost perfect on the pace laps. You don't want to have him go perfect during the race, but definitely a good run to start off as they're looking to go too wide down the front stretch and into turn 1. And Pepper making the inside line work and getting by Dalton.
Yeah, there got a little bit of contact there. Heading down the back straightaway. Paul Pepper really was able to carry a lot of momentum going around through 1 and 2, and you saw what it did on the back straightaway. As he comes out, he gets really sideways, loses a little bit of speed going down the front straightaway, getting that truck gathered up. It drifts a little bit high, a little bit more contact between him and Tyler Dalton. That is not uncommon in dirt racing to see contact like that. It is neither here or there to the drivers, I guarantee you. It is just hard-fought racing right now if you're not used to seeing that type of contact. But Paul Pepper pulling right now. Another thing I always wanted to say, the slide job on Tyler Dalton, but he's not able to hold it down. Tyler Dalton able to get back to the inside, heading into turn 3, going through turn 4 now. Tyler Dalton has the win here, has the race here coming down the front straightaway. As I believe we just got the halfway notification from our our pace car driver, Scott Eckridge, calling it out. So now these guys continue just to trade the lead back and forth. What I'm seeing, Justin, is that it seems like they're kind of Paul Pepper's better on the back half of the track and Tyler Dalton better on the front half.
Yes, exactly. That's what we're seeing here. In fact, Pepper has been making that bottom line work in 1 and 2. Usually, you want to stay on the higher side of the track in both turns, really, for the quickest route. But both drivers really have been making the bottom work completely in this heat so far. And as you can see, both cars really fast, both cars doing really well. It's going to come down to the wire, that's for sure, once this heat finishes off, I think.
And Norman Peltier just hit the wall on the front straightaway, almost climbed the wall. He's back going straight. So the battle still remains up front between Tyler Dalton and Paul Pepper. Paul Pepper still looking on the inside. He's got to get a little bit of momentum back up. If you've never watched a dirt race, you know momentum is key. And momentum will help you carry yourself around this racetrack. And that's how Paul Pepper got himself into fighting with the lead for Tyler Dalton. Paul Pepper actually brushes the wall a little bit there. That, just like I was saying about the car contact, that's sometimes something you'll see in dirt racing. So don't be alarmed if you do see a truck brush the wall here for this evening, especially when you're sticking your right rear out like that. That ends up becoming a problem.
Yes, and as right now, that's a good way to keep the car stabilized, really, is using that wall. Just got to make sure it's not too jammed, as Pepper almost clipped Dalton as we're approaching the white flag just about here, as this is definitely coming down to the wire. Dalton seems to have a bit more momentum here with the race coming down to the stretch.
All right, so I actually believe and our apologies here. We don't have our normal timing and scoring because of the format, but I do believe that was actually the checkered flag they just came to. So that was Tyler Dalton there taking the win for heat race number 2. Paul Pepper in second. Ended up with Travis McQuistion in third, Derek Paulson in fourth, and Norman Peltier the third rounds out your 5 for heat race number 2. So we're getting ready for the heat 3 hot laps to come out here in just a second. What's your impression so far here after 2 heats, Justin?
Definitely some good racing so far in both the heats so far. You can tell who some of the more bigger competitors are going to be, the better competitors I should say, when the A main gets underway. But you also can tell there were a few cars that could be underdogs, like Travis McQuiston was keeping up with Paul Pepper and Tyler Dalton in that heat. So I expect him to do pretty well when things get back underway for the A main, when he gets back on the track I should say. And there's a few more heats of course to go. Both of them, of course, could be very competitive, will be competitive, with now Jeff Gow in Heat 3, Adam Blattel in Heat 4 to add to that competition mix.
Well, one guy that you were talking about that you actually noticed might be struggling a little bit, which is atypical of him, was Josh Skrupa. But he will lead the way for heat race number 3. What are you going to be looking out for him to maybe get some consistency with him running on dirt here?
Yeah, with Skrupa, I've seen him run some pretty fast laps, but at the same time, I've also seen him hit the wall pretty hard, like not just stabilizing hitting the wall, like smacking the wall hard. So you got to make sure you're able to keep the car stabilized in the turn, able to keep that balance. And I think when he's thinking about that, he's going to be trying to go with maybe a little bit of a lower line to try and not do that. And yes, it could be a little bit costlier speed-wise, but it could help with losing the time that he has by riding up the track and hitting that wall there on the outside, which he did in qualifying in the practice sessions.
Well, we'll see. Of course, he's won 4 races so far here for this season, and he'd be a higher up in the point standings if he hadn't missed a race or 2 earlier on. All right, so track is getting ready to close here for the hot laps, and from there we'll see them grid up. We'll give you a grid here in just a second, but seeing a little bit of competitive drivers out there. I think one thing you mentioned was that this will be a competitive heat, and I think Skrupa and Harden sound like they were pretty much on even keel. So maybe a pretty good battle out there, like what we just got done seeing with Tyler Dalton and Paul Pepper, hopefully.
Yeah, with Skrupa and Harden in practice, they were pretty much almost dead on time-wise. So I expect both of them to be nose to tail just about for most of this heat. So both of those I see as being the top contenders. And Jeff Gow, of course, not putting up a qualifying time, he might be able to make a little bit of a run from the back to move up in this 6-car heat.
Well, now starting to see some of the guys pull out here. Your Scott Eckridge has already pulled out with your pace truck here. If I was Scott Eckridge, I'd be having to fight the temptation to just wind that thing up and go around for a couple of laps. But he's being nice about it, I guess, not using up the track anymore. And that's one thing that we know that's the reason why they're keeping the hot laps kind of small, limited on time, and the heat race is small. Is in iRacing with the dirt surface here, it changes quite a bit, doesn't it, Justin?
Yes, it does change. It changes very quickly, in fact. I think it's one of the best track models, really, in iRacing because of the quick ways of it adjusting, because the cars, as they run around the track, they're going to be setting grooves. They're going to be setting the mud around, making the mud fly around in the track surface. So as the race goes on, it's going to become more harder to try and find that line, and as the lines settle up and trying to find new ones, I should say. So, of course, this is going to be changing as this has definitely been changing as the heats have gone on, and expect it to be the same during the A main.
All right, well, here we go. They're all lined up. Start their pace lap. All right, so here's your grid. Josh Skrupa starting on the pole for heat race number 3. So far, it looks like he will take the inside line on this particular heat race. Alongside him is going to be Ricky Harden. Look for those two to actually put on probably a pretty good show here between those two. And then we're starting row 2 is going to be Don Runkle Jr. And then alongside him is going to be Devin Cannon. This is our first heat race with 6 drivers. drivers. And in the back, we got Fred Thompson manning up the last row. And then alongside him, of course, getting a little late to the party, didn't have a chance to qualify, Jeff Gow will start shotgun on the field here for heat race number 3. As we wait for Scott Eckert to pull off, in fact, he has pulled off, waiting for Josh Skrupa to give the field the go. He takes him down slower than anybody else has before, but he's going now. Gets a good jump on the field as it looked like Don Runkle Jr. had to gather up his truck under acceleration there. Didn't lose too much ground, though. He's able to get it back going. Look at that beautiful shot of those trucks going through that corner. That's Dougie Beard cameras right there for you. Back behind them, Josh Skrupa. We end up having Ricky Harden now fighting for second place. And Don Runkle actually pulls a slide job to pull up in front, of Devin Cannon there just a second ago. He is trying his best right now to hold on to third. Pretty good contact there between Jeff Gow and Devin Cannon. Jeff Gow trying to show what he can do if he gets a little bit of a chance here, since he didn't have a chance to show what he could do in practice and qualifying here for this event, as he is digging that truck hard, trying to get past Don Runkle Jr. That is your battle on the racetrack right now between those two. Jeff Gow drifts high up into Don Runkle, was able to pull it off and able to be okay here eventually. It looks like Devin Cannon kind of falling off that battle a little bit. Justin, what are you seeing?
Yes, right now, looking at that battle, as you mentioned, and he is slipping back. Of course, Gow used him as a stabilizing device in the turn, as you sometimes see with dirt. He's just falling behind, dropping to the 21-second mark. That is nowhere where you want to be when in these races. He picks it up back to a 20.3, but that's about an average time. But right now, he's just dropping back quickly. The same thing right now for Thompson, as right now Fred Thompson, in a member of Speed Mafia, has reached the halfway point, already almost half a track out. And hold on 1 second, cars around, and it's Harden.
Yeah, caution is out for Ricky Harden here. He just, it looks like just going down, going into between 3 and 4, he just dug it in still a little bit too hard, and ended up looping it around. That means he's going to have to start last and try to gain some spots back here.
Yeah, he will, and that's kind of what you have to be careful to manage with this, as Harden will be confirmed starting in 6th place, and everyone else keeping in their same positions. But right now, that is the main risk you have, is if you press the gas too hard, if you turn too much, or you ride that different line like you did, you'll go spinning around right in a circle, sometimes bouncing off the wall. So, as it's going to be about lap 5 when we get back going. So, he's going to have a bit of a challenge. Harden's got a fast truck, but he's going to have a bit more of a challenge because he has to get through some of the slower trucks.
Yeah, but that's killer, because it looks like we're gonna have a 22 car A main here for tonight, and even with that, if you lose one spot on track here, your starting spot in the A main is set back by, I believe, 4 or 5 positions. So I've never been very good at math. So it's those couple of spots there, that could just be absolutely killer for his chances here for tonight. As they get ready to go back green here, Josh Skrupa is waiting to get on the loud pedal, and indeed he does. He is away, flying down the front straightaway, and that's going to allow this Don Runkle Jr. and Jeff Gow battle to continue here for second position. As Jeff Gow gets a great run, and it looks like Fred Thompson is around on the back straightaway, yellow, and back on the speedway.
Well, that was a very quick caution, as that was your car that just brought out the last caution, and Harden bumping Thompson there in the rear end, just bringing him around. Of course, Thompson, a part of Speed Mafia, was a little bit off the pace during the first run on the green flag run, but Harden bumps into him and he just goes right around.
So that's going to be the second caution here of the evening, and it took us getting almost through 3 complete heat races before we ended up having one. So, but both of them just a little bit of spin. As you can see, Fred Thompson getting himself back together here. The field has been given the 1 to go, and just waiting for the pace truck to come back around. You see Ricky Harden all over the back right there of that 38 machine. And Devin Cannon is coming down into Fred Thompson and getting in the back of him and turning him around. So pace car getting ready to, or pace truck rather, driven tonight by Scott Eckridge, getting ready to pull off. Here he goes. He pulls off, field under the control of Josh Skrupa now. He's been restarting a little bit late compared to the rest of them. We just wait for him to get on the gas. And there he goes. He is away. Great jump on the field. Don Ruckle Jr. wanted to see that. He was able to also get a little bit of a jump on Jeff Gow. Fred Thompson in the back of the pack just slammed the wall hard going into one. But he is back going. That was not insignificant contact for him, but we are going to stay green as it looks like Ricky Harden is rubbing fenders there with Don Ruckle Jr. in back. Ricky Harden trying to get back up into the second position.
And we're finally up to halfway here. Harden's definitely thinking, I don't want to be here right now. I want to be where I belong, up front, battling for the lead. And he's showing exactly that, driving very aggressively at times right now, pushing his way up to the front no matter who's in front of him. And definitely some good driving here.
Yeah, what you're seeing right now, Josh Skrupa now being able to set distance on himself, and Ricky Harden being able to fight his way back to second place, as we were just talking about. And now that battle is on between him and Jeff Gow. Jeff Gow has definitely had a good truck. It looks like possibly something with Fred Thompson here again. Hold on one second. See what's going to happen here.
And that's already our third caution here. So we'll have to see what happened here for a second with our replay, as he was at the back of the pack and he just turned right left into the wall. So some bad luck there for Thompson today. One time getting hit in the back by Harden, now just going around on his own on the bottom lane, just going a little too fast and a little too sharply, and bam, into the wall.
So whenever we get back to green flag racing here, we will start on lap 7. So we'll have 3 to go in this heat race here for heat race number 3. They're going to get the 1 to go at the line. Remember, yellow flags, they are not counting yellow flags here in the heat race for this evening. So we'll give it as many tries as it takes. And these trucks can take a beating here at this dirt track, as you've seen in some of the real world Mud Summer Classics that they've had there at Eldora. All right, so Josh Skrupa now approaching the back straightaway. He's been great on the restarts, but now Ricky Harden back up in second place, as you see Don Ruckle Jr. there. Hey, kind of get up there, get a little closer to him. That's what he's trying to tell him. Scott Eckridge pulls off the pace truck, waiting on Josh Skrupa to get on the gas. Looking at Ricky Harden pulled up a little bit closer, and then because of that, Josh Skrupa gets a great jump on the field. They are away once again to start lap 7. Josh Skrupa drifts high. Jeff Gow getting a great run underneath Ricky Harden, but Ricky Harden on that high line, he does have a little bit of momentum. He uses that momentum to carry him past Jeff Gow, going down the back straightaway. He might make a play on the lead here as that battle starts to heat up. Ricky Harden now on the outside. Now he falls right back into the clutches there of Jeff Gow. Jeff Gow doing great for not having a chance to practice or qualify here earlier on, kind of getting to the show a little bit late, and now he's fighting for second in heat race number 3. We should be approaching the 2 to go here, I believe, and there it is. This is 2 to go. So next time by will be the white flag lap. Josh Skrupa now firmly in control of this race, but Jeff Gow has taken over control of second from Ricky Harden. Well, we'll get to see if Jeff Gow has anything for your leader, Josh Skrupa, here as they come down in the next lap and a half. Coming out of 3, coming out of 4. White flag is in the air for Josh Skrupa. He's got one more trip around here for heat race number 3 and a potential to start on the inside of row 2 for the A main. So far, he's got control of this race down the back straightaway. He slinks it into turn 3. It's going to take that bottom line around turn 3, and he's going to be looking for that checkered flag to end heat race number 3. Race number 3 goes to Josh Skrupa. Looking at Jeff Gow in second, Ricky Harden in third.
Well, the battle for fourth wasn't made too easy either as they crossed the line back there, as that will be the number 38 of Cannon. Devin Cannon finishing off in 4th, 5th. Don Ruckle Jr. finishing last in this heat here, Fred Thompson. But those two were in Cannon and Ruckle Jr. were door slamming their way with about 2 to go, just about trying to get that spot. That's how important the positioning is of where you finish in these heats for the A mains positioning.
All right, well, that sets us up now for heat race number 4, and I will let you know that we were a little bit ahead of schedule on the heat races, but now maybe not as much after a pretty eventful heat race number 3 that saw 3 cautions out of the 10-lap race. Now, heat race number 4, drivers are getting ready to pull out here to start hot laps here any second. Now, heat race number 4 it's going to consist also of 6 trucks, and so I'm expecting that probably be just as competitive as what we've seen. Pretty actually competitive night up front there. With the exception of Jeff Ward running away with heat number 1, Justin.
Yeah, most of the heats have been competitive, other than, of course, Jeff Ward setting the race pace just about. And he was one of the main drivers I was told about who could run away with things. But with this heat number 4, it could be pretty close because their times are around the similar ballpark, just about the 20-second mark, the low to mid-20s, most of these drivers on the track, including Adam Littell, who missed qualifying. So that could be a wild card here. So very competitive. I expect it to be very competitive, of course, in this Heat 4, even more so than Heat 3, as long as we don't have cars that try and go entirely perfect just yet. As
already a little bit of contact in there in the heat races as Tim Johnston gets to the wall pretty good. I think he decided he was going to go ahead and show Yazik what's going on right there as he ends up turning Yazik into the inside wall. Of course, a lot of this is just heat races. Hot laps here, so these guys are just having a little bit of fun out there to get ready for their heat race.
Yes, if you call bumping cars into the wall fun, I guess so. Oh, but Yazik coming in, of course, as the point leader for the series right now with a 33-point lead. That being said, he has struggled at times with the dirt as he is starting second in this heat. We're going to have to see how he runs in this heat compared to how he did in practice and qualifying, but it's going to be the matter of trying to see how he does, because if he struggles throughout the night or gets crashed out early in the A main, it could make a major effect on the point standings.
Well, one thing to note, these dirt tracks here this season, Yazik getting into the wall pretty hard right there, is going to be pretty important, because now the guys have 2 dirt tracks they're going to have to worry about this year. So that could be a big swing, especially if you're wanting to go for one of the sub-championships, in this case the summer championship. 2 races can mean a lot to you. Now, they do get 1 drop week per segment. So you get 1 drop week during the spring and 1 drop week during the summer. You want to save those for, having a real bad night, or if, something comes up in your real life and you can't race that night. You want to try to be good on every single track that you possibly can be.
Yeah, with those drop weeks, they're pretty important, I feel, because, of course, things happen in your personal life. So you'll end up missing a race or 2, of course. You don't want to be penalized point-wise or if you miss something due to family illness or because you're on a business trip 3-4 weeks on the other side of the country or something. So it's definitely important to have something like that, that's for sure. As they're starting to get gridded up here.
Yeah, so now your grid now for the final heat race for tonight. Tim Johnston is going to start on the hole for heat race number 1. Alongside him is going to be Brian Yazik. And this row number 2 is going to be James Krahula. And alongside him will be Brad Collins. And as I mentioned, there will be 6 drivers in this one. On the inside of the last row is going to be Jake Wright, followed by Adam Littell. And Adam Littell's had a little bit of speed this season. Guess we'll have to see what he can do here on the dirt track as well.
Yes, we didn't see how he did with practice. He didn't put up a qualifying lap either. So we're going to have to see how he matches up here. And James Kohula, I think, is going to be someone to watch, because on those hot laps, he ran the fastest lap. So as long as Littell doesn't do exactly what he just did and slide halfway there for the last position on the grid, I think he's going to be fine.
All right, so
and it looks like they are going to reset him, in fact, after that, to give him a fresh truck with a fair advantage.
Okay, so it actually looks like he's not going to take the reset. Scott Eckridge now in control of the field, just waiting for him to pull off. and we'll get this last heat race underway. Of course, this is all in prelude to having 100 laps tonight for an A main. We're trying to set the field to that with through heat races. Scott Eckridge pulls that pace truck off, waiting for Tim Johnston to get going, waiting on him. Now he's taking the field down, and he is on the gas. He is away, going down the front straightaway. He slides up in front of Brian Yazik. He's going to go ahead and try to take control, but that Ford truck, that Coastal Safety Auditor's machine of James Krahula, he saw blood in the water. He went for it. Now he might actually pay the price. Now Brian Yazik is now underneath him, so trying to go for the lead means he's actually going to end up in second, possibly have to lose third. But that top three right now, you throw a blanket over top of them as they are back there as well, with the last six as well being pretty tight as well, with Jake Wright, Adam Blattel, and Brad Collins. Brad Collins kind of falling off the pace a little bit from those two. So Brian Yazik had a good look at James Krahula. Brian Yazik goes to the high side. James Krahula goes to the low side. Tim Johnson kind of right in the middle somewhere. And that's going to conclude, I believe that's lap number 2.
Yes, that was completing lap 2 there. And James Krahula on those heat laps set the fastest pace. In fact, just set the fastest lap recorded overall, including the hot laps and the heat races, with a 19.85. So he's got a truck to beat right now in this one, as he's going back and forth with Johnston, as right now Yazik is dropping back.
Yeah, Yazik having a little bit of trouble now. He had a great couple laps, but now kind of falling off. He's got to handle Jake Wright. Now, they had a prelude race, a super late model race last night, and Jake Wright did well there, but now we got a battle for the lead, heating back up with James Krahula sliding up in front of Tim Johnston, but is he going to be able to keep it? Is he going to be able to keep that momentum going back around the outside? So far he is. Tim Johnston kind of falling back a little bit, but that inside line is digging here in this afternoon, late afternoon skybox, and that's where the moisture still is. It's still on the inside. You got the inside and you got your top line. Those seem like to be the two lines right now that these trucks like to be in, right along that cushion along the outsides where James Krahula is liking to run. And right now he is setting away from Tim Johnston even just a little bit at a time. What I was saying here a minute ago is Jake Wright actually did pretty well in the super late model race last night, and that's one thing I've heard a lot of guys talk about. I haven't experienced it myself yet, but it's that the super late model is a totally different animal from even the sprint cars to the trucks to everything. So far, he seems to be quick. But we'll have to see how he does in the race itself. But right now, he is only able to manage third here in the split. So James Krahula now running well away from Tim Johnson. So that's going to put that battle out there right now for third position. Jake Wright now getting around Brian Yazik. And 2 to go here at the line. Jake Wright looks like he's going to be able to take that position pretty solidly away from Brian Yazik. Now remember, every single position on track is going to equate to about 5 positions that you drop down once we start the A main. So you want to be as close as you can. So Scott, got Yazik grabbed the wall there just a little bit. I think he's okay, but we are on the white flag lap. James Krahula coming down the back straightaway, taking that hard right, left into 3 and 4, digging that truck sideways right along the cushion. He is going to be your winner for heat race number 4.
An absolute dominating finish there, as Krahula almost, basically, if you look at compared to the qualifying times, he ran the second fastest qualifying time before the A main. So he's got something cooking here at the right time here. He's now going to start up in 4th position because of that good run. As that second place, Tim Johnston. Third place is going to be the number 27 in truck. That is Jake Wright. And it's going to be, I'll finish off with the rest of the grid there, but some good racing overall from the competitors.
Well, in that case, we've got a little bit here before we start the A main. Sun's starting to go down. They're going to be turning on the lights here before too long. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to some of the drivers, get their impressions, what they thought of the heat races, and how things might go for them in the A main coming up. All right, so that concludes your heat races here at Eldora Speedway. That sets the field for your A main, and we'll give you that full rundown here in a little bit. But your top 5 that are going to start your A main is going to be Jeff Ward, Tyler Dalton, Josh Grupa, James Krahula, and then Tommy Ryan. And, one guy I want to bring in here is actually the winner of heat race number 1, and seems like might be one of the fastest guys out there here for tonight. Let's bring down Jeff Ward, talk to him real quick, and see what he has to say here about tonight. We can get Jeff in the booth. Got to make Justin move over for him.
Yep.
If I can actually, I hate to do this, Joe, if you can drag Jeff down here for me. So we'll get Jeff Ward down into the booth. And Jeff, hey, pretty quick out there for tonight. How comfortable are you feeling at this point?
Yeah, Adam, so far we got a good truck. It was pretty good in qualifying there and had a good heat race. So there's some fast guys going to be starting right behind us. And looks like the track starting to have the high line come in there a little bit. But, everything will reset. And I guess we'll see how it comes in from there. But I feel like we got a good piece and looking forward to getting going here.
So once the sun goes down, what are you expecting the track to do?
I think it's definitely going to be a race up on the high line. It's probably going to be hard to pass once we get going, at least from halfway on up to 100 laps. But during the beginning, man, you can really pretty much run anywhere, just depending on how good your truck is. And so it's going to be some good side-by-side, I think, up to the 50-lap mark. And then from then on, I think it'll probably be mostly a one-groove race up top.
All righty. Well, hey, Justin, you got a question for him?
Yes, so of course you mentioned it's going to be a different track, and of course you set the pace basically on the late afternoon setup. So how do you feel your car is going to feel overall with the different textures? Of course, it's going to be a cooler temperatures on the track. Mud's going to be different. The driving lines is going to be different, of course. So how do you plan to adjust to that with having basically the car to beat in the heat races?
Well, nighttime's going to change things a little bit, the grip levels, and coming out there with a fresh track is, going to be a bit of a curveball. But James threw up a test race, early in the week. We got in there and tested out some of the procedures and kind of went through it like it was a normal 9 here. So we was able to get out there and kind of get a feel for what it's going to do tonight. So I got a little bit of a game plan. Of course, things could change on a dime. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
In that game plan?
Depends on what the guys behind me do. I might have to change it up, but get out front and stay out front. That's what we want to do.
Look at Justin already trying to ask for those big government secrets.
I guess you can say that.
Well, hey, Jeff, appreciate you coming in here and talking with us for a second. Good luck here tonight.
All right, guys. Thanks. Enjoy the show.
All right, so let's go ahead and talk to our winner of heat race number 2, another guy that seemed like he's going to have quite a bit of pace here for tonight. We'll get Tyler Dalton to come into the booth, and as soon as we can here, with Tyler once again winning heat race number 2.
And of course, Tyler Dalton did well in qualifying, did well overall in terms of times. If you include the hot lap and the heat laps, he finished 3rd off in that timing, as right now he's still trying to get through the door here. And in fact, there we go. We got him through the door here. How are you, Tyler, after finishing 1st in heat number 2?
Doing pretty good. I was honestly a little bit surprised to have the speed that I do. Still trying to get the hang of this dirt thing, but yeah, that was a really fun race here with Paul.
Yes, definitely a good competitive race with Paul Pepper, whereas you guys were battling back and forth, swapping lanes, crossing over from the inside to the outside a few times. How challenging was that to try and keep Paul Pepper behind you during the stretch during your heat run?
That was difficult because the first heat had just ran, but the outside hadn't quite came in yet, so we were still trying to get the outside to come in, so you could really run the middle, outside, or the bottom there and make it work. But towards the end of that race, finally the outside started to come in a little more. But yeah, that was interesting. I knew Paul was going to slide in front of me, coming out of 2 pretty much every lap, and I was going to have to dive under him. So I just knew I had to get under him going into 3. and then I could get him come out of 4. That was a really fun race.
It definitely was a fun race to watch, and definitely it seems to be a fun race for you to be a part of here. But as we enter the A main, what do you plan to adjust as it's going from late afternoon to nighttime, where it's different grip levels, different temperatures, and different lines you have to run?
Oh man, like I said, I'm still trying to get the hang of this dirt thing. I'm really not sure what to expect other than track's gonna be slick to start off with. So I'll be happy once we get some laps put down, maybe get that outside line worked in.
And do you have a game plan for tonight?
Try to keep it straight.
Sounds like a definitely good game plan. Thank you very much, Tyler, for the time there, and congratulations on your Heat number 2 victory.
Thank you.
Well, while we have a moment, we'll go ahead and get the winner of Heat number 3 down here. We'll get Josh Skrupa into the booth here in just a moment. And Josh, hey, great run in Heat race number 3. It was definitely a hard-fought, win there. You had to hold off Ricky Harden. Ricky Harden was kind of coming hard there toward the end of the race. Was he filling up your rear-view mirror pretty good?
Yeah, he was, man. Ricky's been fast all night. Everybody's been fast all night, for that matter. But yeah, all those cautions bunching us back up, could never really get a chance to relax because there was always somebody back there.
Well, one thing I got to ask you, you've won 4 races so far this year. What's it going to take tonight to get number 5?
Tonight, I think we're going to have to hope Jeff Ward gets in some trouble, man. He's in a league of his own. He's quick. He's always quick week in and week out in the Cup car, but tonight I don't know if I even have anything for him. My plan is to just keep the truck clean, especially at the beginning of the race. I am not the best on a clean track. I like it when it slicks up and we have to rim ride right up against the cushion. That's where I'm best at. Hopefully we can get the track worn in pretty quick and get to that point.
All right. Well, hey, good luck tonight. We're gonna go ahead and just keep an eye on you because we can't ever count you out no matter where you're at on the track. So let's go ahead and pull in Rick Thompson here next. Rick, of course, always like Rick Thompson's truck. He has one of my favorite trucks here in the entire service, and I think Justin's caught up with him.
Yes, Rick Thompson here joining us now from the Speed Mafia. You had a decent run in your heat, which was overall in the heat number 1. So how do you feel about how you did during your heat race?
I felt okay. I mean, we got out there when the track was pretty wet still. Hadn't gotten really ran in at all, and so you could really run wherever you wanted. I found out early you could go low or high. You didn't have to stay in one groove at all. So it was fun getting out there, getting a lot of lines, figuring out where we need to be.
And it was definitely fun to watch from up in the booth. But of course, that's going to change with the adjustments. So what do you plan to do adjustment-wise when it starts to go from day here to night, where it's going to be much cooler, much harder, and a fresher track once again?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what everybody else has said, but I mean, this is kind of a new experience for all of us. First time out here doing a race on the dirt with these trucks, and honestly, I don't know how the truck's going to react. So we're just trying to keep our head on a swivel and try to do the best we can with what we got.
And how does the rest of your team with the Speed Mafia team feel about tonight's race?
To be honest with you, a lot of them are really concerned because they're like me. They don't have a lot of experience on this dirt out here. But we're excited to get out here tonight. We're excited to sponsor the race for the Premier Racing League out here and have you guys come out and broadcast it and just excited for the turnout and everybody else. I know it's the new thing is this dirt, and so everybody's just we're looking to try to ride some of that momentum.
And hopefully you can bring some momentum in. He's Rick Thompson starting off 13th in the A main. Thank you very much for the time.
Thanks, guys.
All right, now we'll go ahead and catch up with our fourth place runner here in heat number 4, Brad Collins. Brad, hey, you're running in the heat race number 4 wasn't exactly what you were hoping for. What are you going to be able to do to make it up here in the A main?
Honestly, I am just doing anything to survive. I'm having a real tough issue with coming out of the turn. The car keeps trying to snap it back up to the wall.
Well, how many laps of practice were you able to get in here for before the heat races for tonight?
I'm probably sitting over 100 easy right now. Once I get into a steady groove, I do pretty good. It's just every so often it just likes to grab and shoot it up to the wall, and I got to be real careful about watching that.
Well, so you mentioned survival. What kind of action are you expecting here? I mean, you're going to start pretty much almost mid-pack with the rest of the guys. Actually,
if you consider finishing last on the grid mid-pack, how are you going to do? Try and move up through the field from 22nd on the grid to try and come away with the victory.
Actually, my plan is I'm actually trying to, if I can get into the turn really well like I have been, I should be able to slide it up and probably, gain 1 to 2 cars at a time. That's where I'm actually making my ground, is going into the turns. It's just sitting here trying to make sure that it doesn't try to snap out on me when it comes off that turn.
Well, and how much of your teammates been able to help you out tonight?
Actually, it's been really good. Right now, if I had to bet on us, though, I was going to go ahead and pick Rick Thompson because he's obviously doing a lot better than the rest of us. But I'm sitting here. I still think I got a good chance at a top 10, possible top 5, because those cars are drifting a lot all over the place when you're going through those turns.
All right. Well, hey, Brad, appreciate you stopping in and talking with us tonight, and good luck to you and the rest of the Speed Mafia guys.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
All right, so with that, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. They're getting ready to bring up, the lights are on at Eldora, and when we come back, we're going to get ready to bring you 100 laps of dirt racing action in these trucks. guys are. It's very, very competitive. We keep going over how competitive it is, and it's been a competitive night. Now, you had a couple. You mentioned Jeff Ward. You mentioned a couple other guys. What would be a sleeper pick for you?
My sleeper pick, I think, based on how this has gone, Jeff Gow, who did not put up a qualifying time, of course, but had a very strong running in his heat race, as Gow is going to start off, in 8th position. So I'm going to definitely be watching him. Another car I'm going to be watching once it goes on, Ricky Harden, because he got in a little bit of trouble during the race. He's going to be starting off in 11th, but he definitely has another fast car for this one. Fast truck, I should say.
All right, so they're getting ready to wrap up the drivers' meeting here. We'll have all the trucks come out onto the track here before too long as well. A couple of guys trying to get in a few last laps of practice as the race administrators are closing the track. These guys are going to form up for the traditional salute to fans on dirt tracks, the 4 wide salute coming up here in just a second. With these trucks, that's sure to be a sight to see.
I have to agree with you, as they're going to be setting that at about 40 miles per hour when they get onto the track. Of course, that is a tradition here with dirt racing, and definitely an exciting one to see if you're a spectator, as the top drivers all go 4 wide before they set up for the official A-main grid.
Well, they come out here and the big salute to fans. It'd be nice if we could just cue the fireworks right now. That would be nice. Maybe we'll make that as a request feature to iRacing here in the next build. So seeing the front row of the 4 wide salute here shape up. 5 minutes to go here before we race. Coming around turn 4, you already see them starting to form up. Everybody coming onto the track.
Trying to set up an even 4 wide, of course. It's also going to be a couple trucks trying to make sure they don't run into the back of somebody. That's going to be a worst nightmare if that happens, as this is definitely a good sight, an impressive sight to see.
Well, I can say that it would not surprise me in the least if we see the start of the race end up with some 4 wide action. But right now they're doing it at a controlled speed. And right now slowing her down to about 20 miles an hour, rounding turns 3 and 4. We need to get a screenshot of that 4 wide with that Eldora right there in the background. Put that somewhere. Coming around, they're going to do 1 lap in formation here. And then I think they're going to go ahead and have a little fun with it too, and get on the loud pedals a little bit like that. So,
and it's definitely something you have to watch and coordinate here. You already have the 62 truck rubbing the wall a little bit in John Wilco, but definitely a sight to see, and definitely a challenge to keep everything coordinated to make sure you're still 4 wide and you don't, spin somebody or bump into somebody.
So if they decide to have a little bit of fun here and get on the gas in a minute, I'm going to wonder what the view out of Rick Thompson's windshield's going to be like in just a second, because that mud is going to fly if they end up doing that. But that is a nice sight. I love seeing that. It's always one of my favorite things, going to major dirt races and being able to see the cars being able to do that.
I have to agree, as they're getting ready, it looks like, to come out into turns 3 and 4. Going a little bit wobbly back and forth, and it looks like they will speed up a little bit in just a couple of seconds, as they will go up from that 20 miles per hour to something faster as they go to the front stretch.
I think something faster is a little bit, Tyler Dalton already up there making contact. Here they go. Going around the front straightaway, trying to do this 4 wide, having a little bit of fun out there, beating and banging fenders. I think that's Yazik pushing Krahula up into the wall. I think Yazik's been wanting to do that for a long time to Krahula. Tommy Ryan is on his lid, got another truck on his lid. A little mayhem here before we get going for the A-main.
And it looks like we're about to send to the national anthem, Isn't that right?
Yeah, we got the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base color guard coming on track to present the nation's colors. All right, so we are ready to get going here as pre-race festivities are done. Track is closed. We are waiting for these guys to go ahead and start warming up. They got about 40 seconds left here in the official warm-up session before we get going with the race. And then once the guys come out here, we'll start talking about the grid and everything else. But so we've talked about picks. In case you missed it, Justin, why don't you tell everybody once again who are the main guys you're going to be watching for tonight?
The main guys from those heats is definitely, of course, Jeff Ward, who is my woodshed pick and the pole award winner for this one. On top of that, James Kahua had a very impressive run in his heat race, posting up faster laps than his qualifying times and his second fastest time right in the warm-ups prior to this A main. So I expect to see him to step it up. I was also expecting Josh Grupa to race well once the track starts to get a little less fresher out there. Tyler Dalton should be able to keep up, and as well a couple underdogs I think for today may include a couple drivers including Ricky Harden, who was a strong car, had a strong truck in his heat but was stuck in a few incidents. I also expect to see guys, of course, like Rick Thompson to start moving through the field, and Jeff Gao as another underdog.
All right, so let's talk about the grid here real quick. Starting up front tonight, we've got Jeff Ward. There we go. Jeff Ward up front here for tonight. Tyler Dalton's going to be running in second. Josh Skrupa in third. James Kahula in fourth. That's going to round out row 1 and row 2. Row 3 going to go to Tommy Ryan, who just ended up on his lid, having a little bit of fun out there. Paul Pepper in 6th. Jeff Gao, one of your dark horse picks, in 7th. Tim Johnson in 8th. Jonathan Lawrence is going to start this race at 9th. And in row 10 is going to be Travis McQuiston.
Starting off in 11th place will be Ricky Harden, who had a very decent run in his heat. Off in 12th place, it'll be Jake Wright. 13th, Rick Thompson. And 14th will be Derek Paulson. 15th, Devin Cannon. And in 16th, your points leader in Brian Yazik. 17th, John Wilco. 18th, Norman Peltier III. And 19th, it'll be Don Runco Jr. And in 20th place, Adam Blattel, who did not post a qualifying time, but did have a fairly decent run in his heat, though he did finish near the back.
So Fred Thompson and Brad Collins, of course, are going to round out your field. So one to go here before we get racing at Eldora. Jeff Ward on the pole. He is going to take the inside line. Tyler Dalton starting out alongside him. I've been wanting to see these two run together on the track at the same time since we saw how they performed in heats number 1 and 2. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive race up front. Hey, Scott Eckridge has been able to go ahead and take a back seat from driving the pace truck. He turned it over to the official iRacing pace truck. He's going to be able to watch this start as we look at Jeff Ward. Get on the loud pedal. We are away racing at Eldora, flying off into turn 1. Let's get sideways here on dirt. Jeff Ward takes the lead up front early. Josh Skrupa gets a great start. Tyler Dalton having to fight with James Kahula, Tommy Ryan on the inside as well. And then back behind him, well, everybody is everywhere. We've got 2 wide, we've got 3 wide as these trucks really try to pull their way around Eldora. Somebody is sideways on the front straightaway. See who that is, who just got into trouble. Don
like
Runkle Jr. ended up he's lost a lot of spots out of that there. But we'll have to see. He might be able a chance to be able to try to get some, positions back. It's Tommy Ryan right now fighting hard in the middle there, trying to do his best not to lose any more spots. Actually just lost 1 or 2, I believe. Justin?
And yes, right now, Tommy Ryan fighting 3 wide right now with one of the picks in Jeff Gao. As right now, Tommy Ryan definitely has the speed. Kahua also doing well. He moves up to 4th on that run. But of course, things are still early. Things are getting very bumpy and very competitive right from the get-go, of course, as there is a low dart by Gao right there. They're definitely a competitive pack right now as things are getting twisty as Kahua starts to pull away from that big grouping.
Yeah, Tommy Ryan right there, not able to pull away from all of them as he actually drifts up a little bit, hits, I believe that was Jeff Gao, one of those kind of stabilizing hits that we keep talking about. You're going to see that in dirt racing sometimes. It's not a big thing, but he gets a little bit more sideways than what I think he wanted to. He's actually going to lose both positions there. We've got yellow on the speedway.
And it looks like that is going to be the car that started dead last on the grid. That is Brad Collins, who brings out your first caution at lap 5, as that is not the best situation for him.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of contact there with Norman Peltier III. Ended up sending the Speed Mafia machine around to bring out the first caution here of the evening, and it was kind of one of those ones that Norman was just kind of running a straight line coming through the corner, and Brad Collins ended up chasing the truck down the track and ended up catching off to him. So that brings out the first caution. Everybody's gonna have to form up behind the pace car here as Jeff Ward still leads this field.
Yes, Jeff Ward definitely running some fast laps, as he started off with the fastest lap of his race with a 19.4 right off the grid, but he's been consistent around the high 19s, means with a couple 20s mixed in there when he was in traffic. I still expect him to set off the pace overall.
Well, for many of these guys, it might be very well the first time that they are racing on dirt in these trucks. If you haven't seen any kind of dirt racing in iRacing yet, yes, that is a new pace vehicle that they introduced for dirt. We do have a truck now for iRacing, as these guys to help lead the field around under yellow, which I think is a little bit more fitting than having that old Mustang out there. So the truck looks nice. Guys are already getting ready to form up here, but the lights are still on the pace truck. We're just waiting for the lights to go off for them to get the one to go. But when we go back to green, your top 5 is going to be Ward, Skrupa, Dalton, Krahula, and then Jeff Gow. Jeff Gow, one of your dark horse picks there, Justin. Seems like he's doing okay here so far.
Yes, he is. He's been in a bit of traffic and fighting for that top 5 position, as the pace truck is off the track, and we're back underway as Jeff Ward gets a good start, as Skrupa going down.
Contact
And a big one.
Dalton goes sideways. Big mess back in turn 1.
And
Jeff Gow's involved. Got Jake Wright is sitting sideways across the track. So you got a couple of guys that had a potential to have a really good night involved in this one here.
A bad wreck there, as that bumps him all the way to the back. You can see what happened there, as that was Skrupa getting into Tyler Dalton. Around goes Dow as well, collecting a couple other cars behind them. So very bad luck there for everyone involved, that's for sure, as we'll have to see how they recover.
Well, the good news is it's happening now as opposed to later in the race. The guys still have about 89 laps to be able to do that recovering, and also a mandatory pit stop as well around the lap 50 mark. So still quite a ways to go with that. Riding along Jake Wright, you can see how he just kind of has nowhere to go in that accident. Ends up sliding into the side. I believe that was both Jeff Gow and Tyler Dalton that he made contact with, sliding to a stop there. So back to live action here as we're watching the cars make their way around the track. Lights still on the pace truck, just waiting for them to form up here. They should get the one to go, I believe, this time by. Cautions are pretty quick here, and I don't believe we have anybody a lap down yet, so the cautions once again are going to be pretty quick.
Yeah, so we're already up to the white flag lap, not white flag lap, one to go, I should say, pardon me there. As race control said, white flag lap, pardon me there. But still, a lot of time to go in this one, and a lot of time to make your moves, but I expect to try and see some of these drivers make a push, especially to try and get a bonus point at the halfway mark.
Well, pace truck getting ready to pull off, and just waiting for him to hit that hard left. And there he goes. He is off the track. And as soon as he pulls off the track, Jeff Ward is gone. He is away. He is on the loud pedal heading into turn 1. Josh Skrupa, another good start. He's able to get almost to the rear bumper there of your leader, Jeff Ward. Now behind him, things get a little bit more busier. In fact, James Krahula actually pulling alongside Josh Skrupa right now. And then behind him, 3 wide action between Johnston. Ryan is back there. Also, Paul Pepper trying to do what he can through the chaos, trying to run on dirt. Everybody taking different lines through the corner. You could see the dirt and dust flying at this Eldora Speedway. Back behind them, Ricky Harden. Ricky Harden actually ended up with a little bit of damage on that, but thankfully aerodynamics is not a big concern at a track like Eldora. You're more worried about just trying to keep the wheels on the car as opposed to the fenders. And then, of course, back behind him is Brian Yazik. Tommy Ryan halfway around. no caution, but that's going to lose him quite a bit of time and positions. He did nudge the inside wall, so that's going to hurt him just a little bit, as I believe he is going to fall back all the way to about 14th position, maybe 15th position here.
And
as he comes across the line, 14th position. So that definitely hurts Tommy Ryan a little bit, and he doesn't have the advantage of a caution to be able to try to gain that ground back. So back up front, starting to see some of these guys with a little bit of bent up fenders. Like I was mentioning, Ricky Harden back there, he's one guy that has a little bit of damage. Also, Devin Cannon and Derek Paulson. So trucks already coming away out of this not for clean. Up front right now, looks like Jeff Ward is setting the pace. He is running away, but the battle is on for second place. James Grahula fighting right now with Josh Skrupa, as he has been since the restart. You'd see the difference in the lines there. Josh Skrupa taking more of the middle line, James Grahula taking the high line, and you see the momentum difference there, Justin.
Yes, a lot of momentum there. I think Grahula has more of the momentum on that lower line right now, and you can see that it's a definitely good battle there. But as you mentioned, it's important to get the momentum, and Grahula has that momentum right now.
Now, you had a chance, for anybody that's joining us here late, you had the chance to practice with these guys here earlier on. Now, how much are you steering with the steering wheels, as opposed to how much are you steering with the throttle?
Well, from my understanding, and
hold on, yellow on the speedway. We'll come back to that in just a second. Looks like Don Runkles Jr. is around. Got to see what happened to him. Okay, so he comes into turn 4, gets hot, gets it fully sideways, can't bring it back, slides to a stop, and the yellow will come out from that. So looks like we're going to be gritting up again here for a restart in just a little bit. At this time, Don Runkle Jr. I think might have gone a lap down in that exchange. We'll have to see if the iRacing lets him back by here.
Yeah, I think he did fall a lap behind. As you've seen there, he had a little too much momentum there, as there's a good amount of momentum that helps you get positions, and then there's the amount of momentum that spins you all the way around like that. And he's going to have to drop all the way to the end of the longest line here after that. It looks like, all because, of course, he was involved with the incident, as you've seen there, which makes him ineligible, if I understand correctly, for that lucky dog.
So Brutus got to hang out in the kennel for just a little bit longer out there. So lights are still on the pace truck. We'll see if they come off here as they go underneath the flag stand, and see if we do get the one to go. Indeed, we do get the one to go. So next time by, we'll get the green flag. Up front, we'll run through the top 10 very quickly. We've got Ward, Grahula, Skrupa, Pepper, Harden, Johnston, Yazik, McQuestion, and Blattel and Tommy Ryan out there. That is your top 10 as you're getting ready to head back to the line. So rounding into turn 3, just waiting for that pace truck to pull off. It's a very sharp pit entrance there, as you see there on the left. That hard left, he takes it, and as soon as he's off the track, Jeff Ward away again. Doesn't get as good of a start as what he did last time. James Grahula and Josh Skrupa still there, but still not a bad start. Who got probably the best start out of all of them is Josh Skrupa. Josh Skrupa is going to be able to fight back here for second on James Grahula.
And it looks like he's actually keeping up here this time around with Ward, as a lot of shuffling right behind them as well. Shuffling a little bit behind now is Yazik after that as well. But looking at this battle here, you can see Skrupa, I should say, keeping the momentum and keeping right on his bumper. He might be able to make the challenge here for the lead and give Jeff Ward a run for his money for the first lead change of the day.
Whoa, we got a wreck here on the backstretch. Got cars sliding down to the inside wall. I think I saw Yazik maybe involved. Oh, hard contact there. I think that was Jake Wright, and they're still piling in.
And it looks like, yes, that will bring out the caution, as that is going to be Travis McQuiston involved. It looks like as well Jake Wright, one of the top qualifiers prior to the heat races. And it looks like Runkle Jr. might have been involved in that as well.
Yeah, it looked like it started with Adam Blattel coming back down the track, makes contact with McQuestion, and Yazik just had nowhere to go at that point, and then things just kind of went from bad to worse as McQuestion came back up the track out of control and into the field. That's where Jake Wright found him. So another tough break for some of these guys. Thankfully, I think the dirt truck's a little bit stronger than what we were used to seeing. So these guys probably going to be okay once they get back going straight.
And it looks like we do have the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog, as Brutus will be able to come out of the doghouse this time. Don Runkle Jr. will be given the wave around here.
And away he goes. There is Brutus. Brutus coming out with his steering wheel. And, I got to think that Brutus, with that kind of light-colored coat, might have to give him a bath at the end of the night. And Justin, as the new guy, I nominate you to give Brutus his bath.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll see how that goes, but I don't see that going that great. Thanks for volunteering me, though.
No problem at all. Out of everybody in that accident, though, the one that got the worst of it, though, was Travis McQuestion. He is limping onto pit road. His engine is smoking, and so I do not get fast repairs, so he's going to have a little bit of a repair ahead of him. As these guys get ready to come back to green, Pace Truck is pulling off, looking at Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward elects to take the outside. One thing I was going to bring up right before the caution is it seemed like everybody started moving to the high side, and Jeff Ward saw that. He takes the restart on the outside, gets a great restart. Paul Pepper trying to slide up in the second, has contact with Josh Skrupa, as back behind from about second place all back is just like a hornet's nest back there with trucks just pretty much everywhere taking individual lines.
3 and 4 wide, in fact, back there right now, just fighting for position. You can see they're trying to get some momentum. A couple cars trying to get the low line to still work. But it is now to that point of the race where you have to race on that high side. It's going to be more difficult, I should say, to make the passes you want to make.
Contact going down the front straight. We got a truck around. I saw Tommy Ryan, I think, was involved at least at one point in that incident, seeing who the truck is that's around.
And it looks like that is Gow around once again. Adam Littell also having to turn back around.
Yeah, so looks like Gow happened behind the actual accident, and it was the truck of Jeff Gow was the one that got it. That Tommy Ryan and him had contact. There was another truck back there, the 67 machine, I believe. Brad Collins also around for the second time this evening and involved in all this.
And Brad Collins not having the best of luck in the heat races, now the A main. Of course, he was struggling a bit in his heat race to keep up with the pace, and now involved with a couple of different incidences here. He'll have to try and buckle down and try and focus with his team, as it looks like Runkle Jr. may be getting a second wave around here.
Yep, Don Runkle Jr. once again will be your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog. Brutus comes out for the second time here tonight with his G27. And discussing a little bit of a possible penalty that Don Runkle Jr. had at one point. Okay, so they're going to take care of that for him here, the race admins in the Premier Racing League. So they are already forming up. Very quick cautions here at Eldora. Lights are off on the Pace Truck. So once again, we're looking at Jeff Ward electing to take the outside line on the restart. So that outside line, as we were talking about, definitely starting to come in with that. That seems to be where a little bit more of the moisture is as this track is starting to dry out. So Pace Truck looking to take that hard left, even a harder left than it is at most other tracks, to get off the racing surface. There he goes. As soon as he's off, there goes Jeff Ward once again. James Grahula tries to get a good jump on from the third row back there, and he might take over second here. Almost a little bit of a slide job. Doesn't have enough room to complete that slide job, but he is going to be able to be in that fight there for second place. There's Josh Skrupa up there in the mix. Of course, he restarted second. James Grahula. Ooh, a little bit of contact there. James Grahula almost forcing Ricky Hart to make a little bit of contact with the wall. Everybody's able to get away cleanly from that, though. Ricky Hart definitely on that high side trying to do good. James Grahula now trying to work that high side as well. Now Ricky Harden moves off to the bottom. See what that can do for him. They're all now trying to chase the likes of Josh Skrupa and Jeff Ward. As Ricky Harden's going to fall back a little bit on that high side. Actually, a little bit of contact there. I believe that was Paul Pepper that just nudged his rear bumper a little bit more contact as he slides up the track. Ricky Harden now being the pinball machine out there, just trying to get around. Justin.
And he definitely was a bit of a pinball machine during the heat races. He's continuing that there, but you got to be careful. When the pinball starts to bounce around, he's going to try and bounce back, as seen a couple times after the incident he had in the heat races. We got a bunch of cars, of course, bumping and banging. Harden's making the high side work to get by Dalton here. So he's got some momentum going. He's got to make sure, though, that he doesn't take the corners too hard coming into 3 and out of 4, because that is what has cost him a couple of positions on this run already, and why he wasn't able to keep up with Kahula.
Yeah, but we are coming to 8 laps to go to halfway. So now the question that we always bring up in the Premier Racing League American Pool Supply Truck Series, you get bonus points for being in the top 10 at halfway. So you're going to be seeing some of these guys try to fight to be able to try to get whatever points they can, because as we've seen, every single point can make a difference out there, as now we're seeing some of those positions change around, especially the back half of the top 10. You got Tommy Ryan back there having to fight with Norman Pelletier the third. David Cannon back there around that 10th position. You got Yazik back there that is close to that 10th position and could fall back very easily. So the race is on right now for 10th position. You want those bonus points. You see Tommy Ryan getting pretty loose. He's trying to hang on to his pickup. Able to avoid any contact there. I believe that was Rick Johnson behind him, but not so much, as you got 92 around. He's in the wall, slaps the wall, is able to get out. Tommy Ryan slaps the wall as well. And Tommy Ryan actually ended up picking up a little bit of damage. That was not insignificant contact that time with the wall. Jeff Gow also, I believe, got into the wall there. Tommy Ryan in the wall again. I think that just kind of disrupted his rhythm a little bit. Who's around? I believe yellow is on the speedway. Pelletier goes around.
It's going to bring out the caution on lap 45 here. That was starting to get a little bit of aggressive there down that stretch. As let's take a look at this right here. You can see Pelletier in front of Ryan, and he just went around and around. So obviously went a little too fast on the pedal, trying to keep in front of Ryan coming out of there, and that brings out the caution.
Well, unfortunately, Jake Wright fans, he has called it a night. He is our first complete retiree this evening. Travis McQuistion, I believe, is still on pit road, but a guy that's benefiting from all these cautions, Don Runkle Jr. That's right, Brutus. He's right on the rear bumper, chasing around Don Runkle Jr. for the 3rd time already here for tonight. He's going to get on the lead lap, and he is definitely probably the lucky dog to be able to get back on the lap from being 3 laps down. So we are getting close to to halfway. Lights. Waiting to see if they go off on the pace car here for this time by, and see if we have a shootout here for the halfway mark.
And it looks like they are out. It will be a shootout here, a 2-lap shootout here. It's going to be fun to see what will happen. Jeff Ward, of course, leading off every single lap. He's going to be definitely fighting off guys, especially like Josh Skrupa, James Kahula, Paul Pepper, who are going to be definitely wanting that bonus point to try and catch up to Yazik, who has been improving as the race has gone on.
All right, well, wait for the truck to pull off. There it goes. Jeff Ward actually waits just a little bit this time. Then he gets on the gas. He is away. Josh Skrupa does not get a good start. In fact, he gets tagged in the back end. Almost a calamity back there. Josh Skrupa loses a lot of positions. James Kahula slides up into the wall. Still got a car stopped on the track, I believe, up here. Skrupa, was he able to get going again?
No, he has not. He has taken a tow, in fact.
So that is not good news for Josh Skrupa, one of the fast guys out there. But now the race is on to try to get that top 10 position. You got Jeff Ward out in front, and Brad Collins back there fighting with Jeff Gow. Rick Thompson back there trying to go for that top 10. Tommy Ryan is American Pool Supply halfway mark. Jeff Ward gets it leads the way at the mark. Your top 10 ended up being Ward, Krahula, Johnston, Pepper, Yazzie, Cannon, Harden, Dalton, and Tommy Ryan and Jeff Gow. So now the yellow is back on the speedway, as now we are at the halfway mark, and I believe that was brought out, I believe, by Brad Collins, not so much the admins.
Yeah, well, this was around the point where you were expecting the mandatory caution for pit stops, and Collins again gets around and picks up Wattel again. So both of them not having the best of days, to say the least, with that one.
Yeah, of course, Brad Collins in that speed off Mafia machine. It looked like John Wilco also had a little bit of contact there coming out. So now we'll see what these guys do here. But the field is catching back up to the back of the pace truck. 48 laps to go here at Eldora. I believe this is our 5th caution now.
I believe so, as there has been a decent amount of cautions, but some good racing up front. And one guy who has definitely stood out is our points leader, Brian Yazzie, who struggled during the heats, struggled during the first few laps of this race, but as the runs have gone on, he has gone faster and faster as things have gone on. So your points leader definitely starting to get things coming together at the right time and the right place, now in the top 5.
Well, Josh Skrupa still on pit road. Gotta wonder, is he going to come back out here tonight? Not exactly sure what happened while we have a minute to think about it. But we do know they had pretty significant contact with the wall there on that last restart when things got pretty crazy. But I didn't see anything that would have been race ending.
And it looks like we're back underway, in fact, as Ward gets underway. No one decided to take the pit stops at the halfway mark, as Skrupa has now officially put in a DNF, as Kahua hits the wall to start things off. 3 wide, meanwhile, around the 6, 7, and 8 spot.
Yep, and we are away again. A little bit of action, a little bit of sideways. Trucks trying to catch themselves in the back part of the pack, but we're going to stay green here. Everybody's able to get back going straight. Paul Pepper up there, Tim Johnston, James Kahula. They are all chasing Jeff Ward, as they have been pretty much all night long, as he is led, I believe, since the drop of the green flag. James Kahula has done all he can to try to catch up to him many times. He's had some terrific restarts, but this time around, it seems like your top 5, about 8 driver or 7 drivers have been able to separate themselves out a little bit, but he gets behind that, and that's you get back into that hornet's nest with the likes of Devin Cannon, Tyler Dalton, Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan has been in the thick of this thing all night long, and he's getting a little bit more sideways than I think he'd like to. As back behind him, Jeff Gow actually just had a little bit of contact, not your normal dirt racing type of contact. Norman Peltier, he had to save that truck, but he was able to save it, and everybody's back going straight once again. So definitely tight racing through the middle part of this pack.
Definitely tight racing, and it's a bit nerve-wracking, because if you make one tiny mistake, you might take yourself out or a couple other cars out. You have to get the momentum, keep the momentum going, and make sure you get everything right at this crucial time. Already less than 50 to go, and you got to make sure you time everything right.
Yellow
and not
on the
make
speedway.
Mistakes.
John Wilco is around. That 62 truck looks like he just got into turn 3 a little bit hot, bounced off the wall, and ended up coming down, and he's going to bring out the yellow here once again for this evening.
Yep, he just had a little bit more momentum than he needed to have, a little bit faster, just bounced off the wall, turned right around. Fred Thompson was lucky to avoid him there.
Yeah, and even more lucky, because I do believe that's going to make Fred Thompson your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog. So he's glad that he did not get involved in that. We're just waiting for the official wave by here for Fred Thompson, but he should be your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog. That'll put him back to being 1 lap down.
And indeed, he is the lucky dog. So he's going to borrow him after Don Runkle Jr. has used him a few times, has been spending time with them. Now, Fred Thompson's got that luck.
Well, now everybody moving over to the left side of the track, letting Mr. Fred Thompson, State Senator Fred Thompson, on by. And we should get the one to go here from the pace truck this time by as well. Get back to racing here very quickly. Now, despite all the yellows, things are going pretty fast here for tonight, thankfully for the quick yellows, and quite a bit of racing action out there as well. At this point, I think the only guy that has a perfectly clean race truck is your leader, Jeff Ward, who's been able to get away from everybody on each and every single one of these restarts.
He's had a near perfect race, just about perfect race throughout this one. There's got to be a bit of pressure there for him as they're about to take the green flag here to keep things going.
All right, truck is away. Pace truck is. Jeff Ward back on the gas on the high line. And there they go. James Kahula once again getting in not as good of a start as what he had been, but still okay start. But he's not able to separate himself away from the likes of Paul Pepper. In fact, he brushes the wall a little bit. Lots of contact in the back, though. That's kind of a chain reaction that fell its way through. And then yellow back on the speedway with Norman Pelletier III being back around, but he is already back straight. That kind of got precipitated there way up front. Yazik kind of got into, James Kahula kind of got into the wall a little bit, and then everybody kind of stacking up behind it. And I think Norman saw that and turned the truck left a little bit harder than maybe what he wanted to, and around he goes.
And we're going to go on board here with Rick Thompson, in fact, after that, as this was interesting to watch because you can see the hornet's nest up there just fighting there as he just watched the car just go right around and was lucky to avoid that.
You know, that's something that we'll talk about here. And I do believe Fred Thompson, once again, getting your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog. So welcome back to the lead lap, Fred Thompson, as he goes around that Jeff Ward, your leader in the pace truck, as Brutus comes on back. He's making sure as many guys as he can stay on the lead lap here for tonight with the Lucky Dogs. Once again, we're going to be going back to green here before too long. That's one thing I want to do when we go back to green here in a minute. Is I want to take an onboard as somebody back in the middle of the pack, and then I also want to show the view out of Jeff Ward's windshield and show you the difference of what these guys are facing here tonight with the dirt and dust and everything else flying around. As it definitely kind of adds a different element to the iRacing spectrum here with the dirt racing and everything else. So the trucks are formed up. We are waiting for the pace truck to pull off once again, and then Jeff Ward once again electing to take the high line around the outside. That's where it seems like the faster line has been here the last little bit of the race. Indeed, you're seeing that once again. But this time he actually drops down to a little bit more of the middle, trying to shut the door on James Kahula. James Kahula slams the wall hard. That once again, that was not insignificant contact. Paul Pepper is in it. Oh, the 15 truck. That was Ricky Hart. Ricky Hart's around. Got a couple of trucks hard into the wall. I believe some truck-on-truck contact out there.
Yes, it looks like another big one there, as it looks like. Let's take a look at this replay because this was absolutely crazy as Kahula got hit by Pepper, Harden started getting loose, used Pepper a little bit to stabilize and Yazik to stabilize. Then the stabilizing went right into the wall as Pepper turned him, and Kahula got collected and blew his motor on that. So a good contender out of this. You see a couple other trucks down there as well getting involved, and Gao and Cannon, a very ugly one to see, especially if you're a fan of Kahula.
Well, I tell you what, Don Runkle Jr. is telling us over the race chat that we need to take a look at his onboard. So we'll do that here after Rick Thompson. You can see the mess. Whoa, Rick Thompson somehow got through all of that right there. That was an incredible piece of driving out of the United States Air Force Thunderbirds pickup truck. Inviting on board Don Runkle, he just said something that he's seen and had a front row view of all of it. Indeed it does. You even see Rick Thompson up there. You look at the Hornet's Nest. You see everybody starting to come together, and then it is just chaos. Look at it, weaving back, left, right, and he gets himself through that accident.
And it looks like a little bit of the luck from Brutus sticked along with him with that, because one wrong move and he would have been done for as well with some of those other cars.
So there is no lucky dog on that last caution there, and the field is definitely starting to thin itself out. That one took out the fast truck of Jeff Gow. So there goes your dark horse pick. Right, lights are off of the pace car. Pace car getting ready, or pace truck rather, getting ready to take that hard left. There he goes. Jeff Ward waiting for it. There he goes. He is back on the gas. Great restart. James Krahula back there. Yeah, actually, sorry, James Krahula now on pit road. That was actually, I believe, Tim Johnston I was thinking of there. Still white and light blue truck there. Had me for a second. But look who's making an appearance in the top 5 after being in the thick of it the entire time. There is Tommy Ryan running third. We got a yellow back on the speedway.
Well, that was a very quick yellow there, I guess. We'll see what happened there. And it looks like it was Hardin again this time around.
Oh, okay.
We'll check up the replay.
He came back out on the track. His truck was still crabbing severely, and I think something happened there to trigger that yellow. Okay, he ended up stopping on the track. I think getting stuck in the wall with the way his truck was crabbing. So that's tough luck for him. But who I think it might benefit is James Krahula.
And Krahula
back
is
in the pits goes James Krahula. So with that point, I don't think there will be a Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog again this time around. There is nobody. The only truck a lap down at this point would have been James Krahula. Everybody else is 2 laps down or more at this stage of the race. We still have 12 trucks on the lead lap.
And one of those has been someone who got the lucky dog a couple times, and Don Runkle Jr. He's worked his way up into 7th position after being in the back of the pack for much of the first half of this race. Now he's having a good shot to win it.
We're looking at, you see both those guys side by side right there that really had to weave their way through that accident with Don Runkle Jr. and also Rick Thompson. Now we're getting ready to go back green here. Well, excuse me, the lights are off on the pace car, waiting for the pace car to take the hard left. There it goes. Jeff Ward back in control of the field. There he goes. He is away. Round of turn 1. Tim Johnston not able to contest him here on the start. Jeff Ward does drift a little bit higher than I think he wanted to, but one guy that definitely got right where he wanted to is Brian Yazik. Brian Yazik making his presence known. A little bit of a rough start to the night. He's gotten to the wall a couple of times and not soft either, but he is now fighting for 2nd and 3rd position.
He seems to have just came out of nowhere from the start of this, because in the heat races he was struggling a little bit. He started off the race struggling. Now he is contending for the lead and catching up a little bit to Ward. So he's come away with some luck here and shown why he is leading the way in points right now in the overall season.
Well, this is definitely what he wants to see and wants to be able to figure out this whole dirt racing thing, because they do this whole thing again in a couple of weeks at Volusia. So we're going to go to Florida, Volusia Speedway, and do this all again here in just a few weeks. Now, right now, Jeff Ward once again trying to separate himself out just a little bit from the rest of the pack. So you got Ward, Yazik, Pepper, and Johnston back there fighting still, as Pepper kind of trying to take more of the high line. Tim Johnston a little bit more of the low line. Johnston does drift up, but back behind them in the wall again and not soft was Tommy Ryan. Tommy Ryan just had pretty good contact with the wall as he's trying to hang on to his top 5 position with Tyler Dalton back there. Now, we know Tyler Dalton has speed. He's shown it tonight already in the heat races. I have to wonder if maybe some of his damage, maybe might have some wheel damage or some suspension damage or something that might be slowing him up just a little bit, but he is still in contention in this race.
Yes, he is still in contention with that top 5 right now. Hold on, Ryan's getting a little loose here as he saves it. He'll fall back to 6th now as he almost lost it there coming out of 2.
Well, that just allows him and Tyler Dalton to pretty much swap places, allows Tyler Dalton to get to the high side. We'll see if he's able to do anything with it. Now things trying to calm down just a little bit. Hey, let's show you something here. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Jeff Ward here real quick, our leader out front. You look at the view out of his windshield, and it is completely clear. He doesn't have anything to worry about. He doesn't have any kind of dust or anything like that. Well, let's go back to the likes of Adam Littell here real quick and see what things look like out of the front of his vehicle. And then you start seeing the dust and the dirt. He's kind of taking the lower line around everybody. Okay, now caution on the speedway.
And already a caution with 17 laps to go. We're going to see what was the incident. Was it involving Ricky Harden again, who was crab walking still? We'll have to see here.
Yeah, we're trying to still find what happened. And so far, not having much luck doing it. But James Krahula, I do believe, is going to be your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog while we're looking for the incident brought the yellow. So the Coastal Safety Auditor's truck gets the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog here at Eldora. And I've got to think, I don't think anybody really kind of knows what happened to bring out that yellow. Some of the drivers are even asking what happened. So that could just be one of those things that we'll just chalk it up. But at this point, yellow flag is once again back on the speedway.
And it could be a very helpful yellow for a couple of these drivers, especially for guys like Tommy Ryan, who is starting to lose a little bit of control on that run. Yazik, who now has a chance once again to go on a run on Ward. And then you have, of course, Pepper and Johnston trying to catch up to them. It also helps the cars in the back part to close in a little bit. And it really, really helps James Kahula, because he was involved in that big accident a few laps ago, as it looks like it might have been Harden involved in that caution, who, as you've seen, had a ton of damage as they're prepared to almost come to green.
Well, either way, lights are getting ready to come off on the iRacing pace truck. This goes underneath the flag stand. Yazik running in second. If you would have asked me about an hour ago, would Brian Yazik be running second in this race? I would have said no. I would have said he might be able to fight for a top 10, but I didn't think he'd be running second. And here he is right up front. This season just seems to be he finds a way to get up front. Well, lights are off here. We're waiting for that pace truck to take the left. And there, away it goes as it hits the opening there on the inside wall. Jeff Ward waits. No, this time actually he doesn't wait. He gets on the loud pedal as soon as the pace truck pulls off, and he is away. He knows that he's got to get away from Yazik and Johnson and all those guys. That gets to be a hornet's nest back there, and already building up a truck length lead heading down the backstretch. Somebody that doesn't have a truck length lead on the next position is Brian Yazik. Brian Yazik grazes the wall just a little bit. I think all three of those guys back there from second, third, and fourth, I think all of them got into the wall a little bit. Is now Tommy Ryan trying to take fourth position. I think Adam Littell, I think he just tagged the inside wall.
I believe he actually did, as this is crunch time here. About 11 laps to go this time by. So if you want to have...
Oh, Tommy Ryan in the wall hard. He wasn't able to get out of it. That's going to cost him several positions. Sorry about that, Justin. In fact, now he's into the mix of it there with, Tyler Dalton and Paul Pepper were making contact, and they were also, I believe, Tyler Dalton against the wall. So things picking up. Tommy Ryan back in the wall. Who was it a couple years ago at the actual truck series, Mud Summer Classic, that rode the wall around him quite a bit? Think about it. Was it Kyle Larson? Oh, hard contact there between Tyler Dalton and Tommy Ryan. Tyler Dalton scoots down the track, ends up getting into Paul Pepper. Tommy Ryan still in that wall. He just cannot get away with it. That's allowing Rick Thompson to get back into the fight there, as Adam Littell is almost sideways across the track. Oh, Tommy Ryan's back around yellow on the speedway.
And Littell is collected there, and it looks like Brad Collins may also have gotten entangled. So Tommy Ryan kept bouncing off the wall a lot there during that run, and it just did not work out well. Littell had nowhere to go. Collins had nowhere to go. Kahua might have gotten a little damage there as well. So not the best day you can see from a guy like Ryan today.
Now we're winding along here with James Kahula, had a front row seat. You can see all that dirt and debris up in front of him, and then trucks in front of him as he makes contact with Tommy Ryan, and that wasn't soft contact either. So we'll have to see what kind of damage James Kahula has, but definitely another round of an accident where a lot of good trucks ended up being involved.
Yes, and it looks like that might have just taken Collins out, who was involved in that, as you saw. As, of course, we're down to about 12 cars on the lead lap. Tommy Ryan also done for the day on that. So with about less than 10 to go, 6 to go when we come around next time by, it is crunch time. As I was trying to make that point with about 11 to go before the bumping and banging with Ryan, this is the time where you have to push things. That's why you're seeing cars bouncing off the walls, trying to get as much momentum as they can to catch up to Ward, show what they have left to go.
Well, Ricky Harden and Tommy Ryan fans, unfortunately, they have officially called it quits for the evening. Their damage just too much to continue. The lights are off on the pace truck. Jeff Ward, as he has all night long, is going to take this field back to green as he's on the outside lane. Once again, he'll control the restart once the pace truck pulls off. So is he going to try to go right when it pulls off? Is he going to wait a little bit, try to trick up Ryan Yazik? We will see here in just a second as that pit entry comes up for the pace truck. Here he goes on the gas pedal. He gets a good start. Not his best start of the night, though. Yazik almost had a run, but Yazik elects to actually try to get to the high side sooner rather than later. Back behind him for third, fourth, and fifth, 3 wide back there. That's Paul Pepper, Tom Johnson's trucks bouncing off each other. Tyler Dalton back there as well. Paul Pepper gets a great run. Tyler Dalton has a little bit of contact. He's halfway around. He's able to save it, but somebody not so lucky. Johnston.
And that is bad luck for Johnston there. A lot of momentum. Caution is out with 4 to go. As let's take a look at this. Pepper and Johnston door slamming coming out of 2. Pepper going to the low side. Then he got a little bit of contact there. Then Rick Thompson hooked him. And around goes Johnston. So his decent day comes to an end right there.
Well, that's definitely unfortunate. Rick Thompson once again going to have a front row seat, but not the front row seat he wanted. As that was hard contact there with Johnson, and then eventually the wall once things kind of closed up right there, right in front of him. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to set up a very, I believe, a 1 or 2 lap shootout here to end this race. So wait for the lights to go off on the pace car. 2 to go here. Actually, no, I believe that's going to end it. If 2 to go now, lights are still on the pace car, Jeff Ward, as long as he can make it the rest of the way around, is going to be the winner of this race. Yazik with a surprise second place finish once it becomes official.
And it was just absolute domination from Ward. A few cars trying to make the challenge, as James Krahula will get the lucky dog, as he'll get the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog, as Brutus will come back out once again with about 1 to go. That being said, it was just absolute domination from Ward today. As for Yazik, I was not expecting him to move his way back up through the field like he did. But as the race went along and the rubber and the dirt was starting to dry up and come down, that is when he stepped it up and moved up into second. He needed to have a race like this with his point standings, and he's going to help grow that lead a little bit after this one.
Absolutely. So Jeff Ward now rounding turn 3, coming around turn 4, a little bit slower than how he would have wanted to do it, under caution here to end this race. But what an exciting Speed Mafia Dirt Derby. They're going to come across the line 4 wide. Jeff Ward is going to be your winner of the Speed Mafia Dirt Derby as the fireworks go off in the background. Brian Yazik coming home with that, once again, surprise second. When we come back, as fireworks go off in the distance, we'll take a look at your finishing order and talk to a couple of the drivers. What a exciting American Pool Supply Series Premier Racing League Truck Series race here tonight at Eldora. The fireworks were spectacular. The 4-wide salute was spectacular. At the end of 100 laps of action, Jeff Ward up on top, leading, I believe, pretty much flag to flag. I don't believe he didn't lead a single lap out there. Yazik coming home with a surprise second place finish, somehow being able to figure out this track in the later stages of the race. Paul Pepper up there as well. Paul Pepper was able to hang tight pretty much most of the race up there in the top 5. Tyler Dalton up there as well. Don Runkle Jr., we're going to talk to him in a couple minutes. I mean, tell you what, coming back from 2 laps down to end up in the top 5. Devin Cannon up there, Adam Blattel in 7th position, Rick Thompson in 8th, State Senator Fred Thompson in 9th position, Tim Johnston in 10th position here tonight after that last accident pretty much took him out of the top 5. Justin?
Yes, and there was only a couple more cars that finished around the lead lap, or on the lead lap. One, to be precise, James Kahula finishing 11th, Brad Collins finishing 4 laps down with a blown motor in 12th, Tommy Ryan involved in that big incident around lap 89 or whatnot in 13th, Jeff Yao 14th, Norman Peltier the 3rd, and 15th, 16th was Jonathan Lawrence. Ricky Harden, a very unlucky race for him after having a fast car during the heats, in 17th. John Wilco finishes 18th, Derek Paulson 19th, and Josh Skrupa finishes all the way in 20th position.
Yeah, and of course the last cars on the finishing order here tonight, Travis McQuestion and Jake Wright. Tough night for them as their night ended very early on in the evening, which very atypical of Jake Wright. He usually finds a way to be there at the end of the race, but not tonight. All right, so we want to talk to our winner, Jeff Ward. Jeff Ward had a fantastic race here for tonight, leading pretty much flag to flag. If we can get him in the booth, then we'll talk to Jeff Ward. Jeff, hey, flag to flag win, great restarts. I'd ask you what you saw out of your front windshield, but we know the answer. What did it look like in your rearview mirror is what I want to know.
Yeah, Adam, pretty pumped up right now, man. That was coming here really wanting to try to get this one, and we got it done. So, really happy. I got first say thanks to my team, Loud Pedal Motorsports. But it was a tough night, really. Even though we led a lot of laps there, the highline would start to get tricky. It was hard to keep it off the wall there in the second half of the race. It started getting really tight up there. So, I saw those guys. Anytime they got side by side behind me, that was good, and was able to put a little bit of distance. Really wanted it to go green a lot longer than that, but it worked out anyway. So had a blast, man, and super pumped about that one.
Well, hey, one thing I'd like to know too is you made the decision to go ahead, and you were the first truck to do it, and everybody else kind of followed you. I mean, why not? You were the fastest truck out there tonight. To make that move about 40 laps into the race or so to just go to the high line, and it was a very abrupt change from people running on the low line to everybody trying to go to the high line. What led to that? I mean, how did the track surface change to lead you guys to want to do that?
Well, I kind of had a plan going in. I was going to, try to stay on the bottom as long as I could. I knew it would eventually migrate up there, but the reason I kind of went up there is I seen Skrupa in my rear view was kind of digging up there and starting to make up some time on me. And I was starting to get a little more wheel spin, coming off, mainly off 4 there, which is can get pretty slick. So I knew if I wanted to protect the lead, I needed to, get up there and start working that in a little bit. And it worked. I saw the guys behind me, a lot of them start doing it, and kind of played in our favor. And it was, the place to be. From anywhere from 40 laps to the end there. So it's pretty awesome.
All right. Well, hey, once again, Jeff, congratulations. Go enjoy your win here for tonight. And I guess we'll see you here back in a couple weeks. You can try to do it again in Volusia.
Yeah, we sure will. Thanks, guys.
All right. So that was your winner tonight, Jeff Ward. And I believe Justin is going to catch up with second place finisher Brian Yazik.
Yes, Brian Yazik coming all the way from 16th place on the starting grid to come all the way up through the field to finish second. Brian, take us through how you did it. Coming in, of course, as the points leader, struggling a little bit in the heats in the start of the race, but working your way up to the second position at the end of this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Justin. I can't tell you how I did it because I don't really know, but I did it twice because I got up to 6th or something like that. And then there was that wreck out of 4, and I got caught up in it, and I went back to 16th again and came all the way back up. But really, this HPP Simulation Silverado Loud Pedal Motorsports machine, I think we got lucky in a lot of instances. There were some wrecks that kind of happened around us that took out some guys, and we just happened to be in the right lane at the right time, and were able to get out and get away. And then kind of as the race unfolded, I kind of started figuring something out, probably by about lap 35, lap 40. I think I had some front end damage. Well, I know I had some front end damage, but I think maybe some engine damage or something, but it helped. It seemed stable and planted, and I was able to get up there and make a good run at things. So all in all, for not really turning a whole lot of dirt outside of the GSRC hot laps and the heats and all that, I think I did pretty good. I'll take that.
Yes, indeed. That was around the time, in fact, when I noticed you started to move up through the field. So, of course, how much were you trying to challenge there to catch up to Jeff Ward? Of course, Jeff Ward had the truck to beat throughout the entire evening. How difficult was it to try and catch up to him down to that end at the end of this one?
Yeah, it was pretty tricky. I knew I had nothing for him. Absolutely nothing. So we just got up to P2, and I thought, he might make a mistake or something like that. But, Jeff is a hell of a driver. I'm so happy for him to get the win on this one, just to maybe try and get some of the bad luck out of the way. If you guys pay attention on the Premier Racing League Thursday series, Jeff is just snake bit over there. So we're really trying and we're working hard to get his luck changed around. So I'm more happy for Jeff. I'm happy for Paul. LPM 123. I'm ecstatic. This is awesome.
Yes, your entire team doing well here. Of course, there is another dirt race on the schedule coming up at Volusia. What do you hope to see when you go to Florida for the next dirt race with these trucks?
I hope to see the same thing. 1, 2, 3. That's all I want. I've turned more laps at Eldora than Volusia. I don't think I've even spun a lap on Volusia since I bought it after dirt came out. So we'll have to wheel this same truck and get it down there and maybe knock some mud off of it and re-sticker the side, because I know I pretty much wore the right side off of this thing. But all in all, really happy, like I said, for HPP Simulation, bringing home a P2 finish. LPM, Jeff Ward, Paul Pepper, we're really ecstatic, and it's awesome, and it was a great show. I hope you all had fun calling that thing. That was pretty fun from the driver's seat.
It was definitely fun to call. Thank you very much, Brian, for your time. Go celebrate with your team.
10-4, buddy.
All right, so that was your second place finisher, Brian Yazik. Come somehow or another, bring it home. Well, Brian, he always finds a way, and in fact extends his points lead to about 56 points over top of James Krahula. So now let's go and talk to your third place finisher here real quick. We'll bring in Paul Pepper. Paul, hey, you were pretty much in the thick of things pretty much all night long. How were you able to hang in there for that third place finish tonight?
8 tires had more grip than 4 did. We were just, like you said, we hit everything pretty much at pace car tonight. Just great racing, and had a top 5 truck for sure. I know James and Josh are really fast. It's too bad they got involved in what they got involved into, but just a really good run. Happy for my teammate Jeff Ward finishing in first place, getting the monkey off his back, Brian in second, and myself in third. It's good for LPM all around tonight.
Well, of course, you mentioned the whole 8 wheels are better than 4 when it comes to grip. I guess using that wall helped out a few times as well, huh?
Yeah, and at times when you got shoved into the wall, and when you weren't expecting it, but when there was 10 laps to go there, so you just had to send it, man. You had to get ready to just go in there and send it, and had really good battles with Tyler all night long. And in the practices, our heat race was awesome. I think that was probably one of the best races of the night. But Tyler and I had really good battles all night, and yeah, that was just really fun, really fun. I hope I'm around for Volusia. I think it is next.
Yeah, we got Volusia coming up here in a couple weeks. Did you learn anything here tonight that's going to help you out there?
8 tires are better than 4, brother. Anytime.
I guess that'll be the theme going into there as well. Well, hey, Paul, congratulations on the podium finish here tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you again in Volusia.
Sounds good. Thanks for the broadcast, guys. And just one more thing. I don't know if you guys noticed on the broadcast or not, but we are looking for some color on those quarter panels and hood of that 29 truck for some sponsorship. So PM me on Facebook if you want to put your face on that bad boy. We'll get you in victory lane.
Hey, you better be careful with Justin. He might literally want to put his face on your truck.
That's all good. I had a guy do that last run, whatever he wants, man. Money talks, and you know the rest of the saying.
Well, once again, good job, Paul. And we'll let you go out there and work with you guys, celebrate with you guys. But I do believe that Justin is going to go ahead and talk to Don Runkle Jr., who had just a fantastic run, coming back from 2 laps down, getting back on the lead lap, and eventually in a top 5. Justin, take it away.
Yes, it was definitely a very great run overall. He came from 2 laps down to a top 5 finish. Don, how did you do it?
Just pure luck. I have no idea. It was just a great run. I got lucky. Guys just seemed to not be able to figure out the line, how it was changing on the track, and I just stayed on the top and kind of made it through the wrecks.
Yes, you made it through the wrecks. Got a bit of luck too from Brutus, the lucky dog. So definitely got some luck going for you there. You had some struggles early on in the race, but as it went on, what did you do to improve your runs to try and get consistent laps and consistent momentum, which led to this top 5, on top of, the incidents around you?
Well, like I said, it's a little bit of luck, and I just kind of knew early just from some practice that the high line was kind of the place to be. If you can get up high, that was the place to be, and just kind of set it up there. And Scott Eckridge gave me a few pointers in practice earlier in the night, and that helped. And me and my teammate Adam Blattle, in the 9, he was we were kind of communicating through the race and trying to talk to each other about where the line was moving. And I think I kind of figured out about 20 laps early that before a lot of the other guys that the high line was the place to be, and I just got lucky, like I said.
Yes, indeed. You did get lucky, and you did play go on the high line, I should say, at the right time. So what do you hope to do at Volusia now that you finish with a good finish here at Eldora?
I'm just hoping we can kind of keep the momentum going on these kind of, on the dirt tracks or whatever. Maybe I got something going on the dirt tracks, and maybe I can make some ground on some of these guys and not be running in the back all the time. It feels good to actually get a top 5 for once, and kind of just makes me feel, I actually competitive for once. So it's a good feeling or whatever, And like I said, my teammate Adam Blattle really helped me out a lot, and Steel Horse Racing, that team is awesome. Those guys are all great, and just great league. PRL's awesome, and I had a really good time tonight. It was a blast. It was so fun.
It definitely looked fun from the booth, and it was definitely a fun one to call. Thank you very much, Don. Congratulations on the great finish. And you also moved into the top 15 in points, moving up 2 spots, thanks to your good run. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. Hey, stay in school. Don't do drugs, kids. Have a good night.
That's definitely that is a big message to follow through, that's for sure.
Well, with that, good congratulations once again, Don, on your great finish. And we're going to go ahead and say our goodbyes here real quick. I want to say a special thanks to the Premier Racing League and for putting on the American Pool Supply Truck Series. Also, thanks to the American Pool Supply for sponsoring the Truck Series. Also, thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcasts that you see listed there on your screen. Also, thanks to our musical contributors, Eric Elcombe and Casey Lalonde, whose music you can find at the websites listed. For more information about future races, you can see the list on the screen, or to go to globalsimracingchannel.com, where you can check out past broadcasts, as well as see the future schedule. We're also on Twitter at GSRC Channel and Facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. The next time we'll be on the air with the Premier Racing League American Pool Supply Truck Series will be June 11th, so these guys get a little bit of a break. That's going to be for round 12 at another lightning quick dirt oval, Volusia. We hope to see you at 9 p.m. Eastern on June 11th. Congrats again to our winner, Jeff Ward. For Dougie Beard, Joe Peak, and Justin Prince, I'm Adam Young. I'll see you guys in July. Until then, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.